at eggs. As much as small as egg is, to think that Africa is importing $161 million of egg products, in my opinion, is amazing. $161 million. $161 million in egg. Who are those importing this egg? And this tells you something. This, apart from the chicken, the chicken meat itself, the chicken itself, or frozen chicken itself, that's actually interesting for me, really, because and Africa is only able to export $32.7 million. So we are heavily dependent. We are severely dependent on import of egg. I don't know how many countries in Africa are importing this. I don't know how many countries in Africa are importing this. But for me, I think this is interesting for me to see that a lot of African countries are importing eggs. Interesting, right? A lot of African countries are importing eggs. It sounds like, does it mean we can't produce enough for ourselves? Sincerely, I really do not know. I really can't say why we are doing this volume. So who are the buyers? Libya. Libya is a market to be considered when you are thinking of egg importation. So for us as a nation, if you are in the agri space and you are thinking of where to export to, this will not be a bad one for you. Because now we have Libya. And we even have in West Africa 2 countries. And I'm surprised to see that Nigeria itself, I'm surprised to see that Nigeria itself is importing egg. So my question is, does it mean Nigeria is not producing enough egg? That's the way it appeared to me. Maybe in powdered form, but the fact is that it's egg. Either in the raw form or in the powdered form. Powdered form should be a lot easier. I think that should even be a lot easier for anyone that wants to deal. As in exporting it in powdered form, I think should be a lot easier for anyone interested. Because the implication for me, if we can export in powdered form, which I guess, and I suspect a lot of people are doing, is most likely be the mode of export. And the implication of that for me is that means Nigeria have what it takes to be able to do the export of this product. Nigeria definitely has what it takes. Nigeria definitely has what it takes to be able to do the export of this product. If you are looking for where to buy, where to sell, Libya is a place to go. Then Senegal, then Mozambique, and then Zimbabwe, Cote d'Ivoire, Mauritania, Cameroon, the Gambia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Kenya, and Sudan. These are the market for egg. Like I said, I'm sure that majority of people importing it are importing it in the dry form. In the dry form. Because that way you can preserve it reasonably. And some even import the shell of the egg. Some import the shell of the egg. Some import it in processed form, like I said, and maybe egg powder, actually. Maybe egg powder, actually. So who are the competitors? If you, by chance, want to consider this for export, who are the competitors? Who should you be concerned about in terms of who are those that would likely be interested in competing with you or already on ground to compete with you? It's interesting that 45% of that market is owned by South Africa. As a matter of fact, Morocco and South Africa is controlling 70% of the market. If you add Zambia to it, that would be 92% of the market. What? 92% of the market is controlled by just 3 countries. You know, whenever you see something like this, you need to ask yourself questions. What is making them to be doing such several millions of dollars in export of that product? And why is it that only few, you know, that some product, a number of African countries are exporting it, but there are some, only few are able to do it? Most likely there is something they get right. Remember, the objective of this program is to stimulate conversation, is to get you to think actually about what is possible and then work towards it. That's our objective, to get you to think about what is possible and then work towards it. So if you're in the agri space, here is an opportunity for you. Here is an opportunity for you to sell egg or eggshell in whatever form that is being sold. In whatever form that is being sold. Of course, like my theory has been for the projection or the trend. The trend there is very clear. The trend there is showing continuous growth in demand for egg. Continuous growth in demand for egg. Remember, your market are Libya, Senegal, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Cote d'Ivoire. And all these 4 countries are using or buying more than 50% of the demand for egg on the continent. And remember, your competitors, South Africa, Morocco, Zambia, Uganda, and Tunisia. All right. So let's look more in detail at another product. Here we have dry vegetable. Dry vegetable. I'm happy to see that Africa is doing a lot of export of vegetable. But it's sad to see that Nigeria is not on the radar. Nigeria is not on the radar. You know, what is interesting for me when I look at this data is to see how much some countries are making from products that you might think are insignificant, are not supposed to be a product of concern because they look small. They look like, how much can you do with this? What volume of this can you do? But guess what? You can do much more than you can imagine. That's why I said the program is to stimulate conversation. It's to get you thinking and asking yourself, this is not fresh vegetable or frozen, this is dry. The implication of that is this will last longer. The implication of that is this will last longer. So if this is going to last longer, why can't I do it? And you know, there has been so much drive towards agric, let's feed ourselves, agric. The question I'm asking is, so what are you doing in agric? Which of the area of agric are you looking at? Here is an opportunity for you on the African continent. $40 million in import. And in export, $90 million. Remember, $10 million is about 44 billion. $10 million is about 4 billion naira. So to put it in perspective, so that when you see $1 million, almost $100 million of vegetable is exported. Almost $100 million. That is almost 40 billion naira. Vegetable. Vegetable. I'm amazed myself at what volume of vegetable Africa is exporting. And I'm glad that there are more exporters or more volume in export than import. So who are the major buyers? South Africa. What? Nigeria import dry vegetable. Whoa. Dry vegetable. Is it that we don't have enough? I'm asking myself a question. I really do not know why. It looked to me like we are really not able to feed ourselves with the massive land mass in this country. And I really cannot blame farmers, because sometimes also while trying to farm, you also consider security. I even heard, I don't know how true that is, but I heard that in some part of the north, to harvest your own farm, bandits will collect money from you. I don't know how true that is. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the reason why Nigeria is importing dry vegetables. I think it's reprehensible. I think it's not acceptable. Vegetable is the list of products we should import. But if you know that we import toothpick and import so many things we are not supposed to be import, maybe I should not be surprised at the import of dry vegetable. All right. South Africa is a major market. Cote d'Ivoire is another market. Senegal is another market. Morocco and Ghana. Egypt and Tunisia. Even though Egypt and Tunisia controls over 85% of the export market. It's also interesting to know that Egypt and Tunisia are also one of the few importers of this product in Africa. So Egypt and Tunisia are doing as much as 85%. Then South Africa also. You know, maybe because of the different type of vegetables. So I've said severally that the fact that a country is importing an item does not mean it cannot export it. Sometimes it might be due to variant, quality, type, and that might explain the reason why the country is exporting the same thing it's importing. The trend line is growing, understandably so, because it's food item, and I've said severally about food item. The fact that food item is extremely needed for survival of people on the continent. The dry vegetable, Morocco, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, and South Africa, major importer and exporter. Egyptians, Tunisians, South African, Zambia, and Morocco. Milk product. Someone is saying audio is not clear. I think it's from your end. I can hear it on Facebook and it's very clear. The person asking that the audio is not clear, maybe you should check your end. Ade Nekon Steven. Kindly check. Maybe you should come out and log in again. Maybe that will be better for you. All right, milk product. Milk product. This is talking about fermented milk product. Fermented milk product will be something like yogurt. You know, fermented milk product will be something like yogurt, cultured butter, sour cream are among the most fermented dairy products used around the world. Cultured butter, sour cream, and yogurt. But it's interesting to know that Nigeria imports fermented milk products, even though we have cow. But it's also good to know that Nigeria export fermented milk products. So good news. Good news. Because I know we have, not doing badly in this side. So I would have been surprised if we don't, but make a lot of sense that we have fermented milk product from Angola, major importer, 24%, Nigeria, 12%, Mozambique, 11%, South Africa, about 7%, Ghana, 4.5%, Cote d'Ivoire, 3.7%. These are the markets for milk products. And I talk about the fact that they are fermented milk products that Africa currently imports. Remember, the objective of this program is to let us know, understand, and have an idea of the product that Africa currently imports. To have an idea of the product that Africa currently imports. And why are we going through this product? If Africa is currently importing this, that means if I want to take advantage of AFCFTA, these are the products that should be of interest to me. These are the products that should be of interest to me. Why? Because Africa currently imports them. Data is showing that Africa is currently importing them. So if Africa currently imports them, that means there's a potential there. There's an opportunity there. There's something there to enjoy, to take advantage of. This is providing market intelligence to help everyone thinking of this product to be able to take advantage of the product. This is producing market intelligence to help everyone thinking of this product to take advantage of it. And also, you might not be thinking of it. This might be a reason for you to consider it. This might be a reason for you to consider it. On the export side, South Africa is leading. Nigeria is not doing badly. Nigeria is making $3.5 million exporting yogurt. I think that is amazing. That's interesting for me. That's interesting for me. About 10% of the export of this product is done by Nigerians. And that's about $3.5 million. Someone is making over $1 billion exporting fermented milk product in Nigeria. Someone is making almost over 2 billion, if I'm not mistaken, or like 1.5 billion, let me say about 1.5 billion naira, just exporting fermented milk product, because that's about $3.5 million. $1 million is about 400, so 3.5 should be over almost 1.5 billion dollars. So a lot of money there, a lot of opportunity there. South Africa is leading, almost half is South Africa alone. Then Zambia, 10.3%. Zambia, 10.3%. Nigeria, 9.36%. Morocco, 8.77%. Senegal, 6.53%. Egypt, 4% of fermented milk product. Fermented milk product. I'm sure a number of business people in the northern part of the country are probably the ones taking advantage of that. But I think also you can take advantage of it from the southern part of the country for those that are interested in dairy products. For those that are interested in dairy products. Another product to look at today is frozen vegetable. I want you to look at something. Africa is exporting a lot of frozen vegetable. Africa is exporting a lot of frozen vegetable. And I think that for me is an interesting one. It's an interesting one because we are doing far in export than we are doing for import. Far in export than we are doing for import. Frozen vegetable are vegetables that have their temperature reduced and maintained to below their freezing point for the purpose of storage and transportation. For the purpose of storage and transportation. Often for far longer than their natural shelf life will permit until they are ready to be eaten. Until they are ready to be eaten. Frozen vegetable, freezing the vegetable help to preserve the shelf life in such a way that it becomes a lot easier to transport it through a long distance to the destination. But it's interesting to note that Egyptians are the major exporters. Who are the buyers, in case you are interested? Algerians, Libya, and South Africa. Egypt, Angola, Mauritius, Nigeria is there, Zambia, and South Sudan. On the export side, Egypt and Kenya alone controls 85%. So if I want to do this business, I will go and investigate Egypt. If I want to do this business, I will go and investigate Egypt. What are they doing? You know, there was a time I went for a trade mission in the UK, and I was in the supermarket of a Nigerian, one of the top Nigerian businessmen in the UK. We're in his supermarket, and he showed us vegetables from Egypt, frozen vegetable. This one is ewedu. Frozen ewedu. Exported by Egyptians to the UK. That was, in fact, the question I was asking myself is, I don't know what they use it for, but the fact is that I have seen the way they do it. So it was frozen till it got to the destination. And when of course, the retailer receive it, they also take it into the freezer. So it remained frozen. Till the end. Till it's purchased, rather. It remained frozen till it's purchased. Egyptian, Kenya take over the market. We have some Moroccan there, some Ugandan, and some South African, being a major exporter of this. But like I said, I'm impressed because if we are not doing so well with agric, I mean, then what will we do? Because that seems to be our strong and selling point as Africans. So that's, for me, should be a place we must play and play very well. That's a place we are playing and we must play very well. Of course, the trend line is expected to continue to soar rather. And the reason being that as far as Africans keep giving birth and increasing in population, then the demand for this product will continue to increase. Remember, the major importers are Algerians, South African, Libya, Mauritius, Nigeria, and the competitors, if you want to export it, will be Egypt, Kenya, Morocco, Uganda, and South Africa. Wood product. Wood product. I want you to check out the amount for wood product. Just check it out. What I'm seeing there is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. As in, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. Both in import and in export, Africa is doing billions of dollars and over $4 billion. And you will notice that Nigeria is both import and export. But this is of interest to me, really. And you know there are so many wood products, so many wood products, so many wood products. And to think that the quantum of wood products, I think someone needs to look at these wood products here. There's so many wood products, from charcoal to briquette to furniture. So many wood products. So many products of wood beyond what we can imagine, actually. But I'm really, really interested in the volume. The amount looks so much for me. I don't know what you think, but this is a lot. And to think that for the import, Egyptians are doing 36% is also of importance. People export the wood itself. In Nigeria, for example, people do a lot of wood export, even though it's prohibited. The way it's expected to be exported in Nigeria is to add value to it. And in adding value to it, it's not supposed to be exported as raw or sawn, but rather cut into sizes. And I don't think that is even wise. Do you know, I heard, and I'm not surprised when I saw that Nigeria is doing almost 10%. So Nigeria is doing over $300 million in wood product export. There are companies in Nigeria who came from Europe, or either Europe or Asia, but the product is exported to Europe. So there are companies in Nigeria who are producing furniture in Nigeria, not for Nigerian market, but mainly for export abroad. I'm also aware of a company that is producing pineapple in Nigeria, not really for Nigerian market, but for export abroad. That one is producing pineapple somewhere in Enugu State, if I'm not mistaken. And NNPC actually facilitated that particular project. And they are exporting it abroad. This is interesting to me because these people, you know, sometimes when we talk about the fact that there are issues in our country which are true, no opportunities, which I don't think there is no opportunity. I think there are no enough skill, enough knowledge to be able to take advantage of opportunities, because there are foreigners that came to Nigeria to farm with the sole purpose of exporting the farm product. So these foreigners are living in bush where some of us cannot live. The day this dawned on me was the day 2010 or 2011. I went to Jos. I went to a mining site in Jos. We were doing an export project and we need to procure some minerals. And I went to a mining site in Jos, Plateau State. I was shocked. We traveled 5 hours from Jos to that mine. The mine is somewhere, it's called Zurak. For those that are into mining, it's called Zurak in Plateau State. Guess who are found in the bush, mining Nigeria away? Chinese. I found Chinese in the bush, mining Nigeria away. Chinese in bush where you and I cannot live. So the person that hired, I don't know who they are working with as Nigerian, but they were all, you know the way the Chinese live, they can, 10 of them can live in one room. Just build one house for them and they are all there, and they were mining Nigeria away. There are a lot of foreigners in this country doing all sorts of things that you can never imagine. So what I'm saying in essence is this. Farming, for example. Why will someone leave Zimbabwe to come and farm in Nigeria? Why will someone leave China to come and farm in Nigeria? Why will someone leave Mexico to come and farm in Nigeria? They see potentials, they see opportunities that we are not seeing. You know why? You don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. We only see to the degree of what we know. Yes, furniture is part of it. Semi-processed wood is part of it. They are all wood products. They are all wood products. They are all wood products. So these people are coming to Nigeria and they are using our wood to process different wood products, and they are exporting it. And they are exporting it. But I think the market for wood export or wood product export is too much for us to ignore it. We have a lot of that in Nigeria. I think it's too much for us to ignore it. Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, South Africa, even Nigeria, Tunisia, Somalia are major importer of wood products. A major importer of wood products, and they are doing more than almost 80% of the export of wood products. Almost 80% of the import of wood products. $4.39 billion. $1 billion is actually of almost 400 billion naira. $1 billion times 4. That's over 2 or 3 trillion. About 1.6 trillion naira for wood product alone in Africa. Who are the exporters of these wood products? Cameroon. I'm not surprised. Gabon. South Africa. Nigeria, Ghanaians, Equatorial Guinea, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone are all exporters of this product. Before we close today, let's look at the last one, and this is the last in this series. Like I said, next week I will do a recap. I will go from the beginning to the end of all the products we have examined in this series. We'll just go through them one by one, just for those that, just for a recap before we now start upper week. From upper week, we will start our maximizing. We actually, the title is maximizing the potential of AFCFTA. The export potential of AFCFTA. How do we maximize the market, export market potential of AFCFTA in Africa? How do we maximize that African market? And, you know, in the course of doing this research, you know, some countries are, they have, I mean, they are so small. I mean, that's why Nigeria must perform sincerely. Because there's some country, they're just too small. They're small, tiny tiny countries in Africa that, and these are markets, but there are big markets also that we need to consider, we should be looking at. Major buyers and suppliers of water. Now, you know, water looks like water. The first time I encountered this, I went for a program in Kano. It was a training. And I realized the water they gave us to drink has French on it. Immediately I saw French on it, I knew it. That a lot of Nigerians in the north are actually exporting water to the Sahara Desert. They're exporting water to Sahara Desert in the north. A huge opportunity, I must say. And water also is to let you know. So I'm hoping that this has also helped a number of us to know that items of export are so huge. We shouldn't think only of commodity, cashew, cocoa, ginger. Some people, whenever they think of export, the only thing that comes to mind, cashew, cocoa, ginger, gum arabic, they don't even think of our regular day-to-day product. Flavor water, for example. We have looked at flavor water in this series. Flavor water, for example. So many people are importing flavor water. So many are importing flavor water. Now, if Africa is spending $52.4 million to import water, I think that should be very instructive for us. Very, very instructive. And I'm asking myself that this as product that we probably are not even or taking serious. But look at Comoros. Comoros is an island in East Africa. Comoros is an island in East Africa. I'm trying to understand why they are doing so much water import. I'm trying to understand why they are doing so much water import. Comoros is a volcanic archipelago of East African coast in the warm Indian Ocean waters of Mozambique Channel. It's a nation state. And this country is importing over $15 million in water. I'm trying to understand what could be the problem. We can always check that up at your convenience. But what's important for us here is the fact that Comoros is a major market for water import. But I want to check other importers. Check other importers. Can you see? Can you see other importers? You notice a number of them in the North African countries. Niger, Libya, Morocco. But we also see some other countries like Angola, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea are also importers of water. Now, I'm checking something now on this Tanzania taking almost 70% of water export. And I discovered that Tanzania and Mozambique are one of the closest countries to Comoros. So if Comoros is buying water and Tanzania is exporting 70% of water, I'm pretty sure that a good chunk of Tanzania water export is going to Comoros. I can almost guess that a good chunk, because immediately I saw the volume of water that Tanzania is doing, I had to go and check the location of Tanzania. I know Tanzania is in East Africa, but checking it in relation to Comoros, and I can see that they are very close. I don't know the distance, but they are very, very close to each other. So I'm not surprised at all that we're having this amount of water export. South Africa also exports water. I won't be surprised if also go to Comoros. Uganda also is one of the exporters of water, probably supplying Comoros. All right, so we have major exporter, $27 million in export. Obviously, a lot of import of water is coming from outside of Africa. Tanzania, 69%, Egypt, 10.1%, South Africa, 4.85%, Burkina Faso, 4.09%, Uganda, 3.68% are all importers of water. The trend of water import is growing in Africa, as expected. Like I said, the major importer of water in Africa, Comoros, Morocco, South Africa, Libya, Cote d'Ivoire. The competitors, Tanzania, Egypt, South Africa, Burkina Faso, and Uganda.